I think mostly we had such a problem with our economics that we needed to look at actually improving the economics of the way the hall was run. And we decided that if we looked for a more environmentally friendly method of heating and increase the insulation of the building, we thought that this would be a great improvement.
We don't consider it to be a small-scale revamp. We thought we did a fairly extensive job. We did the secondary glazing, we did in the roof insulation, and we put a new heating system in, and then we completely redecorated inside and outside. You know, we've got a beautiful old building which we couldn't see any reason not to work with what we'd got and make it better. It unfolded naturally, the order of things in which we did. We'd got an energy audit through National Energy Action, and they said that we needed to improve the heat retentiveness of the building, which involved the secondary glazing, the roof insulation. So we did that first, and then the heating had the air source heat pump put in. The whole thing altogether cost just under £15,000 for everything, including the heating system and the decoration afterwards. We had 4 sources of funding: National Energy Action, Freda Scott, the Freda Scott Trust, the Lake District National Park Authority and the Hatfield Trust.
I think our first meeting was in April 2005, and the whole thing eventually opened with the new opening on May 2006, so probably just over the year. Following the work, we continued with a little bit more advertising and got a website going. And when word went round that the village hall had been renovated, there were a lot of inquisitive people came and booked for various sessions. The benefits of the double glazing are there. The secondary glazing has made a big difference. Obviously it's a lot colder now when you open the windows and you feel the cold air behind it. You can see that there's a lot of benefit from having the secondary glazing in.
Managing the heating, it requires someone. I mean, we're all volunteers, we don't have anybody employed, so it requires someone to make sure the heating's put on well in advance before the hall's going to be used, and also we fairly frequently have power cuts. If the power cut happens, the whole heating system goes to sleep. You have to reinitialise the system to make it happen. It has a very sophisticated sort of programming device which is not appropriate. We want something, you can switch it on when you want it and it'll be warm fairly quickly. We're not happy with the heating system. The air source heat pumps, apparently we now discover, really provide background heating. We wanted something which would make the hall warm for when we wanted to use it, and when it's really cold it doesn't provide adequate heating.
I wouldn't use an air source heat pump. I would look at a more instantly available heat for the people who are going to come in to use it. Sometimes fairly short notice you might get someone who says, can we come and use the table tennis table, can we come and have a meeting? But you can't at the moment heat up the hall in under about 5 hours to get even an adequate source of heat in a warmer time of year. In winter it's impossible.
We need to consider a better source of heat, whether we stick with the wet system, we've got the wet radiators, and find another source of heating the water, or whether we completely start from scratch. But the other thing we would be looking at would be to insulate the walls. It's a stone building. Heat loss is just amazing, really. If you're generating the heat, it's keeping the heat in. With the current economic climate, I think we probably would try and self-fund, try and raise something by fundraising activities. I mean, obviously there will still be money out there to be had, probably. It depends on what we want to do, what we decide we want to do and how much it's going to cost.
Probably the NEA, they were fantastically useful for advice. They gave us a lot of help, a lot of advice, and even afterwards when we were suffering with the type of heater that was put in originally, the radiator type, they came and helped us and did a survey and changed the heating radiators to see if it would improve, and there has been a little improvement on that. I think if I was going to advise someone for the future now, I would look at really looking at what you have around the village hall, what benefits you have already, what you need to do to particularly insulate it, to keep the heat in, because if you're going to spend a lot of money on heating, you may as well keep it within the hall and not be trying to heat up the outside. and try and get as much advice as possible from independent sources.